The FujiCast is an independent Loading Zone production.
Before we start today's show, Kev, we should talk about Fujikina. It is tapping at our heels. It's not far away now, is it? It's this month, Kev, this month. And we have some tickets, some offers for tickets. There's two types of offer that we have. You run through them, Kev.
Yeah, so if you want, now you need to listen to this very carefully, and if you're an early riser, then you've got more of a chance of getting this. If you want completely free general admission ticket, then the first 10 people to email us, click at FujiCast.co.uk after this podcast goes out on the... Neil, when's this go out?
This goes out this coming Monday, Kev.
8th of September.
Yep.
Fujikina, by the way, is the weekends of, I think it's 18th to the 21st September and 25th to the 28th of September. Various things. Yep. It's in London, central London, and it's being organised by Andreas and his merry men and ladies at Fujifilm. And the first 10 people to email, pop into my inbox, presumably on the 8th of September when this podcast goes out, I will send you a code. You can get completely free general admission.
Or,
for the rest of you, for the 11th person and beyond that missed that out, you can use FujiCast 50 as a code when you're checking out for the Fujikina, buying a ticket online, and you'll get 50% off your general admission. So if you want just 50% off, use FujiCast 50 code, and we will link to it, and it's on the Facebook group, of course, and all of that. Then you will get 50% off. But if you want to go completely for free, then email us, click at FujiCast.co.uk, and the first 10, I will send back a code for you to use.
As they say in NYC, perfect. Let's start the show. Kev, back from your holidays. Happy to be here? Happy to be here. I'm sure you are. I'm looking across the ether. That's not a smile, Kev. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not smiling.
You're grimacing, Kev. I'm sure I saw a grimace. But you had a good time, though, didn't you, in Spain? I know you would have done.
Yeah, I absolutely had a lovely time in Spain. And it was brilliant, lovely, warm, hot, very hot. Yeah. A couple of days, 46 degrees.
Woof. Really?
Yeah, and then 900-mile drive from Almeria to Santander, very choppy ferry home, and then it took us 9 hours to do that drive, and then a 9-hour drive from Plymouth to Malmesbury. What should have been a 2-hour drive. Yeah. Welcome home. Welcome back to Britain.
Broken Britain, Kev. Broken Britain.
Broken Britain. 9 hours sat on the M5, sat under a bridge that had multiple England flags draped across it.
Oh, yes. You noticed that. I noticed that when I came back into the UK. I was only gone for 2 weeks, and suddenly we'd become very patriotic.
I wouldn't call it that.
I did see something, and I meant to mention this to you the other day. There was I think it might have been a BBC News story, and I just want you to check your bags, because somebody talked about bringing back a scorpion, which in the same way as, not quite the same, I think, in terms of breeding patterns, but like cockroaches, they're rather prolific, Kev. And this person brought back from Spain a particular kind of scorpion. I forget its name, but it's bred like wildfire, and it's now all over their house. Have you brought any back with you, Kev?
No, at least I don't think so. However, I did see the biggest scorpion I'd seen ever there.
How big?
This time? Well, it wasn't massive. It was about 4 inches.
No, make that bigger, Kev. It's like a saucer.
Yeah.
It was like a plate, Kev.
It was size of my foot.
Yes.
No, but it was big. It was bigger than any of the ones we'd seen before. And we had a lot of creepy crawlies. We had snakes and wasps' nests and geckos, which are lovely, and the snakes are lovely also. None of them are very harmful. But then the scorpion run out on the last day as we were tidying up the balcony. Just kind of scuttled around in front of me, waving its angry little arse in the air. And I was like, whoa.
Are you describing the scorpion or yourself, Kev? I'm not
the FujiCast.
You know, the smaller they are, though, Kev, the more dangerous they are. So the larger they are, you're okay, Kev. They're like the big schoolyard bully. They just make a lot of noise.
True. That's generally true. You are quite right, but it does depend on the breed. Yeah. These are more like Mediterranean scorpions, so not even big or small. You know, it's going to be like a very nasty wasp.
Well, you wouldn't want to test it, would you?
No.
Really?
I really wouldn't.
Welcome to the FujiCast. We had a couple of weeks that spread out, and then we're back as per norm. Now that everybody's back at school. Are you back at school, Kev? Back at school now as well. Kids gone back to school, haven't they?
Today they went. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine did as well. Happy and cheery. Oh, school. Here we go again. So it's the FujiCast. You and your questions that you've sent in by email to click@fujicast.co.uk or by sending them to Facebook, which is still alive and well and working in Malmesbury, isn't it, Kev? How do you do it?
Go to Facebook, search for FujiCast. There's a post at the top that says questions for the show. Post your questions in there, and at some point, potentially, we'll get to them.
Okay.
Maybe.
Not maybe. We will. I don't want to get political, Kev, but since you mention it, I just want to, since you have come back to Sleepy Malmesbury. Sounds like a film, that. Sleepy Hollow, Sleepy Malmesbury. Are there many of these St. George's, or to give them their correct name, Union flags? It's not Union Jack unless it's hanging off the flag. Is it flagstaff flag of a ship? It's a Union flag. How many have gone up, Kev? And then I'll tell you what happened here.
No, I haven't seen any in Malmesbury, I've got to say. There's one in the butcher's, but that's been there ever since, for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
But well, I think it's. I mean, I'll get political about it. I think it's abhorrent.
I will tell you, Kev. When we got back, somebody had put the St. George's flag on the lamppost outside the house.
Oh no! Outside your own house. Do you know what? I'll be asked a very very important question, and he said, "I don't get it, Dad." He said, "Isn't it good that people?" Patriotic.
Yes.
He says when we go to Wales, you see Welsh flags everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And for those reasons, I would expect it. I love it when England are in the World Cup and Wales aren't, and you see all of the England flags pop up in people's gardens and backs of cars and everything. Absolutely, 100%. But it's not for that reason. Generally, the people that are doing it for. Have had their flags in their gardens for years, are doing it out of patrioticness, yeah. But the ones that are, drawing them on roundabouts and hanging them from lampposts and all of that kind of stuff, they're just...
Kev, careful, Kev. You'll have people hanging outside your house, Kev.
I don't care.
Oh, Kev. Shall we move on briskly? Yes, please, Neil. Right, we should say thank you, by the way, to PickTime. Our sponsor have sponsored us, and now the series has come to an end. But we still want to say thank you to them because they have been fantastic in supporting us for a number of years now, actually. I think it's a number of years, Kev, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. And, we both, as always, will be still using them because we were using them way before they started helping us out with a bit of spondoolies here and there.
So I'll keep using them. They're very important to my business. So thank you, PickTime. Pick-time. This is the last time I'll say it until they start with us again, of course. But we might mention them again in passing, I'm sure. But pick-time.com. Thank you. Fantastic place to store your images from your jobs and your art stuff as well, Kev. The galleries for landscapes and stuff like that. So thank you
England
very
flags.
much to those wonderful what flags?
Yeah, and for England flags.
No.
Pictures of England flags.
No, Kev. Oh dear. Right. Let's start. We've got lots of questions actually, Kev. It's been good. It's been a summer of love or summer of questions.
And we've got a book as well.
And we've got a bookity book. I think I'm going to like this one because I'm a big fan of vinyl, and you've got a book about vinyl, haven't you?
I got a book about pictures of record shops.
Perfect. I cannot go past a record shop, Kev, without going in. I don't really buy many records, despite the fact I've got a record player just there. I don't buy a lot of vinyl, but occasionally I do like an afternoon of sticking on a record. I just like record shops.
Yeah, you should go and visit Disco Dave, who's in my old studio across the way.
Oh.
He's got a collection that is absolutely enormous.
Has he?
Fills up all of the walls in his house. He's a proper record collector.
Well, I think I could spend a very happy afternoon there then. Right, questions. David Swales. Hi both, hope you're doing well. I've recently purchased a GFX 50R. Happy days, which I absolutely love taking portraits with using the 80mm 1.7 lens. 80 mil, Kev. What's that equivalent to in? I know we don't like using full frame things, just so I get an idea.
55.
55? Okay, because it goes the other way, doesn't
60,
it?
Yeah.
However, I recently discovered that you can get a GFX 50S Mark II for pretty much the same price as a 50R. I understand that the 50S Mark II is noticeably a faster camera to use than the 50R, but I much prefer and enjoy using the rangefinder layout. So this brings my question. Am I depriving my wedding clients by not having a faster more capable camera, or should I stick to my guns and keep using what I enjoy? I love the slower process of shooting with the 50R, and I've got some photos with it which I really love. Thanks for a great show. Speak soon, Dave.
Well, I mean, that depends, doesn't it? If he feels like he's missing moments using the 50R, then yeah, he will capture more moments.
I think he's more worried about if he's depriving his wedding clients.
I don't know. I think no, that doesn't make any sense. But to me, but I kind of listened to that and thought, he's saying, is he missing stuff because of the speed of the camera? And only he can answer that, can't he? It depends on how fast he shoots and, whether he's a reportage photographer, in which case you probably need, a faster one would be better. I mean, when I had the 50R, I used it in conjunction with my, what would have been then XT3s, I suppose, or X Pro 3s, even X Pro 2s. God, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I would never relied on it. Salisbury.
Salisbury? What's that town got to do with it? As Tina Turner didn't say.
I don't know why I said that. The reason
I'm leaving that in, Kev, not taking that out.
I just know that the kids are back in school because I've just had about 4 emails from the school, one after the other, knew this, knew that, blah. And I just saw one pop up and it was about a trip to Salisbury.
Okay.
Solely, I wouldn't personally use the 50R solely for my style of wedding photography. But I actually also wouldn't use an X100, the GFX 100S or S2, which are the faster ones, solely for my type of wedding photography. But I don't know whether that's the same type of wedding photography that he is doing. So stick with the one you like. I think one of the most important things that was for me when it came to buying equipment was, will I enjoy using it? And this is what I never really
Which David is.
It.
He's enjoying it, Kev.
Yeah. I'd never really enjoyed using the XT cameras. I've much preferred the X Pros. But the fact of the matter was the XT5 is far more capable camera than the now defunct X Pro 3. And so that's what kind of forced my hand in the end. But I never enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy using those cameras.
No.
But yeah, you must. I think it's important to use stuff that you enjoy using. Otherwise, it can become a bit of a chore, can't it?
Do you remember Jeff Askoff said, and this might be something to proffer to David, I don't know, when I think a hand went up at one of those, we were talking about this just before we turned the big red light on, Kev. But somebody's hand went up in the audience of one of those things that we went to, one of Jeff's really good workshops. And the guy asked, what happens when you don't get a shot? And Jeff said, well, it's very simple. If I didn't get it, it didn't happen. And as much as at the time I thought, really? I think maybe, David, that's a way to think about it, and then you won't beat yourself up if you didn't get a particular moment. You just think, well, there's 1,001 other moments. That one's gone. I remember that from Jeff. I've often mused over that. Right, go on, Facebook.
Right, I haven't read this one. It's quite long, so I will just plow into it. This is from, how would you pronounce this? Kayleen, I think.
Sorry?
Hudson.
Sorry?
Cahleen. How would you pronounce that?
Sorry, say that again. Cahleen.
It's a beautiful sounding name. Kayleen, I want to say.
I'll look it up while you read the question.
Kayleen Hudson. My question has been covered in bits and pieces from different episodes. I'm looking to condense some of the information now. Hang on. I'm just going to go to ChatGPT and say, condense all of our previous podcasts. See what it comes up with. I have a very small documentary family photography business in Taiwan.
Oh, right.
I cannot do all of the things for it. In 2025, with AI searches and all of that jiggery-pokery, what can we now let go of in terms of getting the word out about our business? This is interesting. can I please not have a Facebook page? And can I please not bother with a Google business profile? Can we forget about paying for Meta ads and Google ads now? I have a website with decent SEO and Instagram that I've been ignoring because a little piece of my soul dies every time I open it. If I have to, I can muster up enough strength to continue blogging on my website and posting on Instagram. Can this be enough? Is it better to just focus on a couple of things like this rather than doing everything for everybody all the time? Thank you. Love you guys. Kayleen, Carleen.
If she's Irish, then it's Colleen.
Taiwan.
But from
said that.
Well, I know, but but when you said her surname, I was thinking that sounds more Irish than.
Okay, so I've just gone. So by the way,
if it's Mandarin Chinese, which is Taiwan standard, it's Kalin.
Okay, so I figured it all out. Apart from the pronunciation, I've gone to a website. The website is beautiful, by the way. CAHLEENHUDSON.com. Beautiful. Anyway, so she's originally from LA. But has been living in Taiwan for 20 years.
20 years. Nice. Okay. I have to say, I have a love-hate with Facebook now, really. I don't enjoy using it too much, although I'm being very careful because it's an important part of the FujiCast show, and it's an important part of the Photo Walk show. So just because I don't see it as the first thing that I go to doesn't mean that it's not important in terms of marketing and communicating with people.
So, well, when it comes to, let's answer Kayleen's question first, and then I'll give you my thoughts on Facebook also, which is basically a hate-hate relationship.
So but you still use it, Kev.
in some, yeah, I know. In summary, yeah, but I still talk to people in the street that I don't like.
You speak to me every couple of weeks.
Well, that's true, yeah, but I like you. In summary, I would, if I had to pick out of all of the things that she mentioned, Instagram Reels or all blah, 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 Facebook, etc. I would put, well, the ones I'm concentrating on are Facebook, not Facebook, my website, blog posts, Instagram to a certain extent. I don't really put too much effort into it. I mean, probably about 6 weeks since I posted last. And that was probably a picture of a camera, which probably got way more exposure than anything else. But she did mention Google business profiles. Now, they have more impact now than ever before because of the way that AI search is using quality information and basing facts about photographers, businesses, etc., based on their reputation. So a Google business page, it's not like it used to be. You don't really have a kind of separate login and all of that kind of stuff for it now. It's just connected to your Google account. But yes, that's an important thing to have. You don't really have to do anything with it. I don't do anything with it. People write reviews and stuff for the workshops and what have you, but I don't post much on it. I can't
is this the one, by the way? Here we go. I'm sorry to interrupt you at this point, Kev, but this is the one that I'm trying to find the word, Kev. That photographer in the UK had a load of people's business profiles taken down because of some sort of
bricks and mortar. They didn't have a bricks and mortar shop front.
That's right. And I have since then, by the way, been trying to get mine back. Here we go. Your business is not visible to customers. Your access has been disabled because the profile doesn't follow the guidelines. I have been over and over and over and over again trying to get this sorted. Even Neil Ford, who helps us here and helps me immeasurably on the Photo Walk podcast, he has tried. He is Dr. IT. He just honestly, everything he could possibly do, I'm sure he has done, and even he has failed. I'm exasperated with it.
Why don't you set up a new Google account and start from scratch with your business profile?
God,
I mean, you lose all your reviews and everything, but it's better.
But on all those photographs, all those local photographs I've made and all that stuff I'd worked really hard at, Kev. I tell you what, it's soul destroying. I felt like crying that day. I really felt like crying. It kicked me at a time when I was at a pretty low place, actually. And what probably hurt most is that another wedding photographer had reported me using this really weird, odd loophole that I'm sure Google should have just said, our error, that shouldn't be there. It catches a lot of people out. But somebody had to do it. Somebody had to make that effort to do that. And I thought, Why are we not just supporting? We just come out of COVID and stuff. Why are you doing this? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it was a horrible thing.
Anyway, so this is not answering Kayleen's question, but I thought it was important to mention that because I know there are still photographers who are in the loop. So there we go. I'm with you. I feel you.
Yeah. So a Google business profile is an important thing. Yes. But saying that, I wouldn't, don't, like you're still getting work, etc. If you haven't got one, it's not like you're suddenly not going to get work.
Yeah, but do you think that's been the reason why I don't get as many hits these days and I'm nowhere to be seen on Google? I sense a disturbance in the force, Kev.
I don't think that when a Google business page is disconnected or turned off by Google, I don't think necessarily that would affect your position of content already in the SERPs, in the search engine ranking pages.
Right.
But I do think that, certainly then, but I do think that now it will have an impact on all of the AI overview stuff and everything that's going hand in hand with 2025 and the rest of forever. So I would be surprised if your old content is not on Google, but it certainly may have been bumped around a bit. Yeah, but I'm going to say it again. I've said it to you a billion times.
I know you have to blog and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, that's the next point, isn't it, with Kayleen? Yeah. So, you do, if you want people to find your content on Google, which is, let's face it, Google and ChatGPT and the AI search engines are the places where people are mostly looking. You need to have fresh, organic, updated content regularly on your websites. And I'm talking to Kayleen here, not necessarily you, but I've got one eye pointing at you and one eye pointing at
it's not an attractive look, Kev.
I know, yeah. I look like somebody who's just been hanging England flags on lampposts.
No, I was going to say you look like that actor, the very famous one whose eyes used to go helter-skelter.
Oh, yeah, I photographed his son's wedding.
Did you? Oh, my God, how funny. What was his name? Anyway, I'll look up his name while you're talking.
Yeah, he was in Star Wars, wasn't he? In one of the Star Wars films as well. Yeah, anyway, yes, so my point is, I think personally, if it were me, I would, keep your Google business page if you have it. You don't need to put too much effort into that. Content on your website is important. And Instagram, I think, I still get inquiries from Instagram, even though obviously now I'm not shooting so many weddings. I'm not posting that much content. But when I was, probably 2 years ago was when Instagram was working for me the most. And I would say maybe quarter of my inquiries were coming through Instagram. Right. Not necessarily through direct messages on Instagram, but, we found you on Instagram type things. And, again, I will reiterate the stuff that I've mentioned before about Instagram. If you abuse it, you won't get the reach that you perhaps should get. So by that, I mean too many hashtags, putting in hashtags in the comments, using ... to hide hashtags, to not actually putting any content into the comment box itself or the description box. If you're putting a single picture up there, describe the picture, tell Instagram, tell the people who are reading it why you love it, why it's there. Don't just put a picture of it on there and just leave it and hope that suddenly you're going to get people, finding you. It won't happen. 3 or 4 hashtags, lots of content information. I don't do reels or stories or any of that jiggery pokery. They probably will get more reach, but you've got to weigh up the time and effort involved in that. However, carousels are far more stronger than single image posts. So typically anything between kind of 5 and 10 images in a carousel will get you more. But only post when you have something to do, when you have something to say. Don't worry about it. Don't kind of fight the anger and don't think I haven't got any followers and nobody's seeing it. It's definitely a long-term strategy there. But your short-term wins are the website for sure, blogging, content, that kind of stuff. And if you think, well, I've only done 2 or 3 jobs this year, then split that out. You can do your two or three big blog posts. You can then I used to do why I love this picture posts. I used to do posts about this image in black and white versus this image in color, all kinds of stuff. If you've got pictures, you've got content. Every single picture could be a blog post in its own right. So, don't worry about that. But on the same time, don't be putting content in your website just because you think you need to feed the Google monster. Only put things in your website that you think will be useful and interesting to potential clients, people. That's very important, because the more you just chuck stuff in there, it could potentially be known as what's known as thin content, which means it has no power, no influence, no impact. And too much thin content can actually drag your website down rather than bring it up. So there you go.
Dear. Marty Feldman, by the way, was the name I was thinking of with those eyes. Do you remember Marty Feldman?
Oh, no, that's not the bloke I was on about.
I was going to say, I don't think you did his son's wedding.
No.
But Marty Feldman was the one I was thinking of. Good advice, Kev. And I know I went off on one just a moment ago. I'm going to be very careful what I say about the person that did it, because they had their own reasons, I am sure. But it just didn't seem the most charitable way to act in an industry where we're supposed to be helping each other. You know, there's enough going on in the world. Help each other. Help. Do you know, I've always said that, and I've been very lucky to meet a handful, whether that's through Zoom or through meeting properly, and I know you're the same, Kev, of meeting some photographers that are very high up there, that are the ones where we think, you just meet your heroes, and so on and so forth. And I've always felt, Kev, that the further up you are, the more, it always appeared to be the more generous you were, the more helpful you were. And that I think that spirit of helping each other, that's what community is about. I'm Fuji Kina talking on a panel about community. I'm really, really, really keen on community. I think everything. It's a springboard for everything, Kev. It really is. Because anyway, look, I'm going off on one now, Kev. Should we talk about a book? Let's talk about a book.
Yes. So books.
Now this particular couple have written books on all sorts of stuff. I've got the book about the pubs of New York, which are
exactly. So we've been sent, or I've been sent on our behalf, several books by the Murrays, James T and Karla L Murray.
Yes.
And each book has been great. So they did. Yeah, you listeners may remember I think the last one we did was the one about the pubs, and then they did coffee shops and things like that, didn't they?
I think there was one with delis as well, wasn't there?
Delis, yes, that was it. Yeah, but I have to say, and I love all of them, but I love the simplicity of all of them. But this one, I think, is probably the one. Maybe pubs. Pubs and records. What could possibly go wrong?
I know.
Anyway, the blurb, first of all, says New York's record stores are essential to the city's cultural fabric, bringing different communities together through a shared passion for music. Vinyl NYC, that's the name of the book, by the way, Vinyl NYC, highlights 33 and a third of the best of those shops across all 5 boroughs. See what they did there?
I like it, Kev. But what shop is the third?
Yeah, exactly. From the punk rock legacy of Generation Records in Greenwich Village to the Latin music heritage of Casa Amadio in the Bronx. From reggae mainstays VP Records in Queens to the rare finds at Brooklyn's Human Head Records. Husband and wife duo James and Karla Murray's vibrant, detailed photographs are accompanied by music journalist Hattie Lindert's explorations of the stories, histories, and offerings, showcasing the diversity and richness of NYC's vinyl culture. So, if anything, if you're into cameras, photography, and records, and you're in NYC and you want a directory of some amazing record shops, then this is a book to go and get. But just like all of their other books, the photography is sensible. It's not over-processed. It's not necessarily, overly lit. In fact, it's not lit at all. It's all natural light. And it's as it is at the time. So pictures of record shops, the back stores, unloading bays, that kind of stuff, the funky, quirky elements, the store owners playing records. The shop fronts, I think, are often, as interesting as inside.
Well, sometimes they weren't, though, Kev. Some of them are and New York in particular has these amazing basement shops, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Look at this. Page 158, big old ghetto blaster there. Love that. Yeah, and yes, most sections are covered with some information about the record shop and the stories of the people that run it and the history of those places. I think it's fascinating. I've got to say, I like you. I've got a record player and I've got a handful of records. Not many. I used to have a lot more, but not anymore. But this is something that would pique my interest. And if I were a music aficionado, which I'm not, I would definitely be picking this up. And even if it wasn't just a case of looking through the record store pictures, but using it as a directory of places to go and explore and visit. And what I've often thought about these books from the Murrays is, they take you to a particular place, whether that's a record shop or whether it's a deli or whatever, it doesn't really matter, coffee shop, etc. But that's your starting point then, isn't it? You can explore outwards from there. If you've got a reference in the middle of a book that says on this street corner in this part of the Bronx is this record store, you can go there, you can look at that, and then you can start working your way outwards and explore the entire neighborhood that perhaps you would never have visited. Good example of that, actually, when we were in northern Spain on our way back, we stopped overnight. We were in a little town, I can't remember what it was called, and Gemma popped onto ChatGPT and said, where's nice to eat around here? And it took us on a 20-minute wander out of the town into the middle of a housing estate, and found an amazing burger bar that we had our dinner in. And then we explored that area from there.
Yeah, we did the same on our recent European odyssey, if you like, from Milan and Budapest and Cologne. ChatGPT is good at that sort of stuff. Give me a little rough guide, and away it went. I don't know, does the book have, I'm not sure if it's still open, Rough Trade in there?
Well, Rough Trade in Bristol is still there.
Well, no, I wasn't thinking about Bristol, I was thinking about NYC.
I didn't even know it was, I thought that was a British company.
Oh, no, legendary, Rough Trade.
Let's have a look. No, it doesn't look like it.
Is Rough Trade anyway still in NYC? Blah, 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 blah. Searching the web. Oh, no.
Well, they're definitely in Bristol.
Oh, no, it is. Rough Trade remains active and growing in NYC. Oh, it's 2 places now. Well, there we go. That must be 2 of the 33 and a third. Did we work out what the third was?
No, there is a map. I'd have to read through every page to do that. And as I've only just received the book, because I've been away, I haven't had time. Yeah. But I am loving looking through the pictures. This is going to be one of those ones, one of the few photo books that I take home and I put on our coffee table at home, because I think
I wanted that one.
Visitors to the house would enjoy looking through that.
I think James and Karla have really cornered something here, haven't they? Doing their bars, doing their delis, now they're doing vinyl, the record shops. They saw something, and these books have, I think it's a great story, a fantastic story. Two people that have found passions and made proper, is this Prestel, by the way?
Yes, so Prestel Publishing. Yeah. I think it launches I think it's available on the 9th of September, but I think you can pre-order it now from all usual places. Yeah. James T. and Karla L. Murray, Vinyl NYC, and the words are by Hattie Linder.
Blooming impressive, I think.
Very nice book.
Yeah, wonderful. I think we've got time for one more question, Kev. Shall I go for it? Yes, let's go for this one. Nelson Rato. First of all, thanks for your great podcast and all the knowledge and expertise you share. 2 questions. 1, I'm primarily a street photographer, but I'm struggling picking projects. I know you guys do street photography. Can you suggest 5 projects for street? 5 projects for street, Kev?
I kind of like, it depends whether they're long-term projects or micro projects. But I typically go for kind of micro projects rather than, kind of long-term things if I'm just going out for the day or whatever. So I like to. Yeah, I'll give you 5 off the ones that I use on my workshops.
Go on then.
So 1 arm's length is one. So you're shooting things that are just, you've got to get very close to stuff. Using audio, that's a really interesting one as well. So record the audio of a street corner or space, listen to the audio and go back and tell the story of it. Slowing the shutter right down. So you might have to think about your exposure in other ways, or use an ND filter or something like that. But I love doing that as well, and kind of, especially if you can find somebody who's standing very still in the middle of a road and buses and stuff are going by, that kind of thing is cool. Decluttered background, that's another one that I like to do. And so there has to be a single subject in the frame with a clean background. So you're looking for, uncluttered walls, walkways, that kind of thing, rather than just chaos. And then funner projects. Some of the ones that I give to the delegates are a curious place. That's one I like. So send them off to find a curious place to photograph. Another one is for the love of the money. And one of my favorite ones is my shop front. Yeah. So they're pegged to a shop front. They're not necessarily photographing the shop, but they can't move outside of the boundaries of the window of the shop.
I have a similar one that I give called Doors. Doors is a good one. Because the comings and goings of what's behind a door can be quite interesting. The commuter's journey is one that I've given to folk. That plays quite well. And conversations. So photographing people deep in conversation or maybe passing and talking, that sort of stuff. There's lots of things you can do for that, isn't there?
Yeah, and another thing you could do, talking about AI, is you could go to AI and say, you know what, I'm going to be in Edinburgh.
Give me some ideas for Edinburgh. Yeah.
But not even just ideas. You can get very clever with it. Give me a, I'm going to start on the Royal Mile. I've got 45 minutes. The weather's not going to be great. Give me a route. Give me some locations to look for. You can even say things like, if I need access to places, elevators, that kind of thing. Just, don't be afraid to explore that as well.
Yeah. Right. Second part of the mail. This is more complicated. What's your process coming from a day's shooting, downloading, selecting, editing, categorizing? I'm an organization freak. Sorry. Well, don't apologize, NR. I think mine's very, very simple. Download the images. I do my pics through Photo Mechanic. I'm able to do those really quickly these days. I cull with a lot more ease than I used to. So then they're selected. So the downloading and selecting all happens at the same time. Into a Lightroom catalog, edited. And I'm not great at categorizing them, to be honest, Kev. Do you remember our friend Paul Rogers used to be brilliant at that? Man in red coat, girl with lost shoe.
Yeah, but he was a photojournalist, wasn't he, for papers?
Oh, he needed that stuff. So that's something he was very, very good at. So it's not very complex in my case. I dare say you work in a similar sense.
I work exactly the same way. Yeah. So images get downloaded to my hard drive, the full folder, if you like. I then cull off that and drag the keep ones, the ones I'm going to edit, into the keeps folder. Only though that keeps folder goes into Lightroom, gets edited and sent to the clients, and then the full folder gets deleted after the job's been delivered. But yeah, I use Photo Mechanic for culling also.
Best tool, I think. Nelson, send us some of your pictures so we can see your work. And that is it.
Photo Mechanic's gone subscription now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So we're lucky, aren't we, Kev? Because we had it, and it's not subscription for us, is it?
Well, no, it's not. No. But we won't get updates.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, it's the fuel in the car, blah, 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 blah thing, isn't it? So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for another couple of weeks. Thank you very much. I think we're recording the next one, actually, on the day it goes out. So it might be a little bit later on the Monday in a couple of weeks' time. That's because, Kev, I am off to Scotland. I'm leading a retreat there, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. It's one of my favoritist places in the whole widest world.
Take your midge cream.
Yeah. Well, it's not so bad this time of year, but you are right. A couple of years ago, I remember somebody who was on the workshop called Paul got a fabulous picture of him. He looks like he's huddled on the floor. Hiding away from these things. But you are right, midge cream is an important thing, or midge spray is an important thing, and it protects you against the ticks as well, by the way, if you spray it down the bottom of your trousers. Top tip. Anyway, Kev, if you want to join in and send some questions, you can do that on Facebook, can't you? How do you do that?
Go to Facebook and go to FujiCast. Search for FujiCast, join the group if you're not in the group, and at the top you will see the questions for the show.
You send us our sprays to there, Kev, or send them to click@fujicast.co.uk. Right, I want you to go home and look in those bags and check you haven't brought any scorpions back with you. Yeah? All right, good luck. Bye, Kev. Bye.
Bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.